are live. Hell of a Show is live tonight, Monday night. Ready to have a great show going into this. Before we get started, make sure, if you will, let me know in the comments if you can see and hear me okay. And let's get some shares out there and make sure we get this broadcast out so we can get some more people in here. We got a great show lined up for you tonight. In the hot seat tonight, BDI awaits back here. So we're going to be having some fun tonight with getting them up here and getting some discussions going. Again, thank you for being here on this. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share today. Subscribe to YouTube channel so you don't miss out on any of the content that's going on. We got a lot of stuff coming up in the future as well, but we're starting off tonight. We're going to come in hot on this one. So let me go ahead and introduce my guest up on here, and then we will get going on this. First off, let's go ahead and introduce Brian Peterson is here. He is back as a return guest. Brian, welcome back to the show.
Hey, how you doing, Phil? Thanks for having me
doing
back.
Great, man. It's been too long since I've had you back on here.
Yeah, it's been a little while. Thanks for having me.
It has. And speaking about, too long since I've had somebody on here, here is 13-time return guest, Tom Big Dog Hutchinson is here.
I think it's 13-time champion is the term you're looking for.
Yeah, it's there, definitely. I mean, 13 times since we started doing this, you've come up on here. So either you really like the show or there's something wrong with you. I don't know. But either way, I appreciate you being here.
Yeah, always good to be here. I appreciate it, as always.
Hey, no problem at all. Now, before we get started into everything, I like to go ahead and start off by going in and let y'all take just a moment, let everybody know with like a little elevator pitch of who you are, what you do, where to find you, and then we'll delve into all the details right afterwards. Brian, we'll start with you.
Sure. Hey, I'm Brian Peterson. I do covers for Big Dog Ink. Me and Tom have done a whole lot of stuff together. I also have done some various covers for a lot of other publishers, including Dynamite, Coffin Comics, Counterpoint Comics, and a few others. I've got you can check me out on Facebook at just Brian Peterson, or on Instagram I think I'm Brian Peterson Artist on there. And that's about all the social media I'm on.
Yeah, and look at that banner back there.
I know. You see my banner?
Oh yeah. And Tom, I mean, does anybody know where to find you?
This is it. As always, basically anywhere you are on social media, you can type that in and you'll probably find us. BDI Comics, specifically Twitter and Instagram. We do have a TikTok now. Same thing, BDI Comics. There's nothing there yet. There will be things there. But if you do the TikTok, you can get hooked up there and be ready for when we do the TikTok thing kind of heavy next year. Facebook, of course, is basically where we live. So you can find me there. You can find the Big Dog Ink fan page there. We do our all-encompassing Comic Unity page there as well, where everybody's welcome to just jump in and show off what you're doing. So Facebook is kind of our home, but we're out on the fringes too.
Oh yeah. And just to let everyone know that the background image that's on here for Blue Jay, that's on here. It's also on the thumbnail if you want to take a look at it real quick while we're doing this as well. That is actually Brian's work as well that's on there. And he also does just a little bit of work in the actual comic itself. I mean, you touch on it every once in a while, right, Brian?
I haven't done any interiors. It's not quite my thing. Just kind of stick to covers. I'm doing a side project with Tom with some Blue Jay stuff as well. And that still has yet to be revealed. I got some more stuff I need to crank out on that. So that one's still kind of in the works. But yeah, no, I'm doing all kinds of stuff. Blue Jay is still going here.
And I mean, it's some awesome work that we saw on there just to kind of come into this. And as we're going through here, we'll pop up some covers of some of the other work that's going to be going on from a couple of the other upcoming projects that'll be going on. One thing that's kind of odd about this show, as opposed to any other show that I've ever had Tom on here before, in the back room before we started up, I asked him, I said, "You don't have a current project going right now, correct?" And he explained to me why he doesn't right now and everything. This is the first time I've had Tom on the show as a guest and doesn't have a current project. So I don't know what the stars are aligning a different way or what's happening here, but this is a very strange evening for me here tonight because we don't have an actual link to send to you or anything like that. So we're just going to show you some really cool stuff and talk about some great work that's in the projects, in the works, and kind of get you excited for things tonight.
Yeah, it's all set up for next year. It's all set up for next year. We didn't want to we don't want to be cramming a lot of stuff in here, in a couple weeks right before Christmas. People are doing other things. There's too much else to focus on. So we decided to push back the project to February, and then of course Ursa Minor. We pushed back to January because we got behind on our colors for issue 2, and I didn't want to get all crazy super behind on another issue. So I was just like, nope, we're just going to push that back, take our time, get issue 2 out as soon as we can. So we're going to actually be shipping issue 2 in January, just as part 3 is underway. So everybody will be getting their books just as we launch the next campaign.
Very cool. And what about Princesses versus Zombies? Have you received those yet, or are you still waiting to get those books in?
Surveys. We just did surveys there. So there's the campaign officially is finalized by Kickstarter on this Wednesday. So a couple of days. The Kickstarter is officially finalized. So anybody that was a backer, please make sure that you're not getting emails from them about busted credit cards and stuff, because that happens. It's easy to fix, but you got to watch that it's happening, because once the time runs out, that's it. We can't help you at that point. So the campaign will be wrapping up officially Wednesday. Surveys are out, so people are filling out surveys, and we should be sending the book to print basically. I mean, we're coming up on Christmas, so basically like right after Christmas it'll go to print, and then we'll be shipping that early January.
Very cool. And that's just in time for your next campaign to launch, which I believe is January 7th, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep. January 7th, Ursa Minor Part 3. We'll be back. It's the third part of the 10-year anniversary of Ursa Minor that we did all through 2022. And it'll be a 40-page book to finish up the story arc. Fabio Samau, the artist, is already almost halfway through with the book already, art-wise. So we're way ahead on that. By the time we get to the actual campaign, we'll be mostly done with it. That's where we are right now.
Now I want to talk about Fabio here in just a moment too, but I wanted to show some of the covers because, everybody likes the covers. And just to kind of bust that myth real quick, there is more to these books than just the covers. If you crack them open, there's more story, more artwork, some words you have to read. Not too many of them too big of words. You can actually, work your way through them. But yeah, it's definitely worth it to crack these things open too. But the covers get the attention, and you've got some gorgeous covers that are coming up on Ursa Minor, and I'm noticing a trend for homages that we're doing.
Yeah, they're not homages; they're tributes.
Okay.
So people that know me know I am done with the homage idea. I'm really tired of it unless there's something really unique and interesting. But what I do love is the old like 60s and 70s horror stuff. And I always loved the trade dress, the logos, and the word balloons and blurbs that go on the covers and stuff. So for Ursa Minor, we decided to do something a little different. Normally everything we do is virgin covers. But with Ursa Minor, and you'll see all 3 Lost Girls here that Brian did, all of them have a virgin edition, which has sort of a patch variant of some sort to kind of go with it. And those patch virgins are printed to order, not like we normally do 150 copies. But as you can see right there, the 150 copies, those all have those tribute logos on them. So what I had Ed Loveley work up a bunch of our own logos, but they were based on old 70s logos. So a lot of the fonts are kind of similar. The layouts are kind of similar, but then they're all our own logos. So like, for example, the Lost Girls there, that font and design was something, I can't remember what it was now, something about a witch. It was like Witch Tales or something, right? And then we just turned it into Lost Girls because that's what we were doing with Brian. Is Brian was taking like 80s sort of personalities and turning them into vampires. So we did a series of them. That one that you just saw, that's the Baywatch cover. That's for the one that's coming in January. That's one that people haven't seen yet before. So that one's coming in January. There is a patch version with Elaine. It's sick. It's just sick. Alania made this, like, all the waves are blood red and there's bones in the water and stuff. It's like, oh my God. So the patch is crazy. This was the what was this one? This was the first one that we did.
Mm-hmm.
And so this was a mix.
The first one was the carousel girl.
Yeah, but this is the first one with the logos on it. First one with the logo.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So there are technically 4 Lost Girls. The first was the logo, the Madonna mixed with Lost Boys carousel. But that was our normal version. We just did our Virgin edition. When we did this stuff, we added all the logos to it. So that one was an interesting mix of the Lost Boys with the cliff and the motorcycle. And then the girl, I don't like telling people who the girl is. I like trying to let people figure it out. Some people have figured it out. But she is an 80s sort of personality from the music world. And we put her on the bike. And then again, there's a patch version of that with the original Madonna girl sitting on the back of the bike as well. So, yeah, so those were really fun. Those were really fun.
And I mean,
and we let Brian just do all of them. So we had, like, a set of Lost Girls.
Oh yeah. And I'll show this last one here in just a moment, but I wanted to bring up real quick. I want to bring up one more of these because I want to bring up the back of them, the back cover. There's a different image on each back cover. Is that what you're doing now?
Oh yeah. Yeah. We've been doing that for a while now. Yep.
Okay. Because
I just
noticed...
all of our books have a art design to the back of them now as well. So we started this particular Ursa Minor backing, I think, on this story arc. The previous one was a little bit different. There's still something artistic on the back, but sort of every story arc kind of thing, we kind of changed the way we do it. So there's a little bit of artistic stuff on the back of each one.
I love this one, by the way.
Yeah, this one came out great. So this is, of course, Daisy Duke, if she was a vampire. This one came out really great. It did really well. People really liked it. They were really attracted to it. Again, Brian did a great job on the whole thing. And it was so good that it actually has sparked a spin-off of its own. And this has happened a few times over the years in Big Dog Ink, where we've done a cover that is just supposed to be generic people, angels or devil girls or vampires or whatever. And when I saw the piece, I was so happy with it that I was like, this has to become a thing. So one of the first ones actually was Ursa Minor. So Ursa Minor cover for number 3, I think it was number 3, was an homage to Creepshow. And we replaced the skeleton guy in the ticket booth with a ticket taking vampire girl. And I was like, wow, she's just badass. And so I put her in the book. And then I killed her, but she had her moment in the sun. Well, literally she had her moment in the sun, which is not good for vampires. So on this one, it was funny because I showed it to a friend of ours, Allison Lear. And the first thing she said when she came back, she was like, "Oh, it's Daisy Doom." And I was like, "God damn it. It is, isn't it?" And so that's what kind of triggered the whole thing to turn it into a story. And so part of next year, our 13-year anniversary, we're doing an anthology series called BD13. And the Daisy Doom will be part of that anthology series. I'm writing it right now for Fabio Samao. So the artist who's doing the interiors of that book, he's going to come back and do this anthology story as well, which will be the origin story of Daisy Doom and her partner. And it's called Yeehaw Vampires.
Yes. I'm definitely ready for that one. Just from the name alone, it's just like, yeah, that sounds like it's got to be something that you got to look into. Now with Brian, with your work and stuff like that, I was really introduced through BDI, to most of your work that was on there. I think it was Legend of Oz is where I was absolutely hooked, because Tom being Tom, he releases one cover that you can see and I get the tear. And then the next one, he says, we're going to do this, a different version here, just this one time right now. And then it's the Emerald version. And I'm like, well, son of a bitch, I got to get all of them now. So I have a lot of your books and I am not unhappy about that. And they're ready to be slabbed, by the way, because I want those things in case. They're gorgeous.
Awesome, man. Well, I thank you for snagging some of those books. Tom surprises me too sometimes. I'm like, oh crap, look at that, that's cool. Didn't know there was going to be one of these crazy cool foils of it. So even I get surprised myself. But yeah, Tom's really been awesome. He's been great to work with. He's really given me a lot of projects to work on. It's been a great ride, and so I really enjoy working with Tom, and everything's been in a unique challenge, things that get me out of what I'm normally used to, and it's been awesome.
Oh yeah, and I mean your style is one that there's a few artists that I can definitely reach out there and I know automatically who did what art out there, and yours is one of those that I'm like, oh, that's a Peterson. I know it's a Peterson one right there. And sure enough, I'll open it up or I'll look at it online or whatever and look it up, and sure enough, it's yours. And that makes me feel good that I know that, but it also makes me feel good that you have that much of a unique style that has that flair to it. There's a lot of people that have the same mock-up style, the way that you do the pinup, artwork and stuff like that, but you just have an extra flair that you put to it that really makes it stand out. And I'm pretty sure that's what Tom saw as well. And he's like, yeah, I want to keep this going and keep this up there, because he likes seeing that extra pop that comes out on artwork. And you definitely have that. And it's very cool that you have an eye to be able to see that in a lot of these different stories.
Well, I'm really glad and kind of flattered that you said that. I honestly, I'm in my own bubble when I do my artwork, so I don't know what people are really seeing when they're looking at my artwork. I still feel like I'm developing my style. So having you being able to notice my style, it's pretty awesome. And I'm glad that it stands out in its own way. I do have some people who really heavily influence me. Like some of my big influences was, of course, Jeff Scott Campbell. He was a major influence, but I also am really impressed by Mike DeBalfo's artwork, as well as Elias Chatsoudis. I think those are my top three that I really, enjoy looking at their style more so than others. I don't particularly base my style off of theirs. I just try to draw things my own way.
Right.
But those would be the guys that I look up to as far as art goes.
And that's very cool that you mentioned them, because you can definitely see where they have influence, but it's still your style. And that's awesome that you're able to take it and make it your own. So I just want to say, from my point, at least, I've seen a lot of artists and I've had a lot of guests on here that are artists and things. And it's really cool to have someone on here that actually has their own style enough to where it stands out, and still be able to have influences, like you mentioned, that don't stand out above and beyond what you have on there. So whatever you're doing on there, keep doing it, because I know Tom's going to keep you on there as long as he can, because he sees it as well.
Well, thank you so much.
Now, Tom, as far as finding talent and finding people like Brian on there to bring on to BDI staff, what do you look for? Are there certain things that you kind of test people with, and kind of, look for those things that come out there, or do you just give them a shot on it and see what they come up with, or how do you go about doing that?
Well, nowadays it's different than when I started. I mean, it used to be people had some semblance of some online presence of, posting random things, but it was very inconsistent. And so I would have people like do test pages and stuff. But now everything's so advanced with social media that people are putting up, really nice scans of whatever it is that they're doing. There's not really any question about what people can do anymore. So if I see it and I like it, I'm gonna send you a message and say, I like it. Let's do this. I mean, that's what happened with Fabio. Is I didn't even have an artist for Ursa Minor last year. I was struggling to find somebody. The one guy that I reached out to wasn't able to do it, and I had to go find somebody. And it was a very random day where I'm on Facebook, and I'm in tons of Facebook art groups. So my feed just gets art, just appears. And something showed up that I'd never seen before. And it was a page. It was an interior page too. I was like, oh, that makes it even better, because everybody posts their covers and stuff, but you don't always see the pages. And so I saw those pages and I was like, holy God. And so I went to look at Fabio's page to see what else he had posted, to get a real sense of what he could do. And I was like, yeah, dude, this is it. And so I sent him a message that day. I was like, look, I have this job and it's going to take this long and it's this many pages. And are you available to do this? And again, just by a miracle, he had gaps in the schedule because he's worked for other publishers as well. So he had gaps in the schedule so that he could be like, yep, here, yep, here, yep, here. And I was like, oh my God, this is it. Let's go right now. We're starting now. And he's been tremendous and the book looks fantastic. Same with colorist Chuck Obach. I had no colorist for this book. It's all pencil. It's colored from the pencil, which means that requires a certain extra technique than coloring, from black lines. And but I had known Chuck from doing stuff because he was coloring Paolo Pantalena's stuff, and then I realized that he had done interiors before, and so same thing. I just kind of winged it, like, what do you think? You want to do like a book? And he was like, yeah, I think I can do it. And I was like, oh my God, this whole thing fell together. And the book is unbelievable. It's absolutely unbelievable. It is beyond what I could have hoped for. So I hope everybody really loves the book because it is something special and it's going to be a wild finish.
Now, what I want to bring up is I was waiting to bring up about Fabio because I had watched you on another show. I believe it was Niobe's, where you were talking about working with Fabio. And you were talking about how fast he was and how fast he was, giving you these pages and everything, up to the point where you actually made the statement of you had to tell him to hold off for a few days, let you catch up, and then he could keep going.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard you say, let me catch up to anybody.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous what he does. And so this was on Friday. He turned in the last page that he had for the script, and I wasn't quite ready to give him the next chunk. And so I was like, yeah, just I'll have it for you in a couple of days. He was like, fine. I was like, okay. So instead of just sitting and waiting, let me just give you another cover. And I knew it was an easy cover. It's just figures. Cause this is going to be kind of a artsy fartsy thing, but, so it's just two figures, but I was like, let me have you do this while you're waiting for the script. And he was like, cool. So, and that was Friday night. And so this morning, Monday, I get a message from him and it's done. And it's just like, what the fuck, man? Like, so I got to get my shit together and finish this script for him so that he can just tear through it. The stuff he turned in the pages, it's like really wild because it's like super crazy action stuff and he's just going bananas with it. I told him, I was like, look, this issue, it's going to get really, really action heavy because we're going to have these vampire fights with the bear. And I want you to just make it all energy, like however you want to do it. And so he's got, he's just like warping panels and it's all energy. It's just unbelievable. And so now that I've kind of seen what he's done with like the heavy action stuff and I'm kind of still in the middle of writing these action scenes, which to make it really dramatic, it's actually in a lot of cases harder than just writing dialogue. Cause you have to, you think about a movie, right, where they have to choreograph all the punches and then the ducks and the moves and the into the walls and out of the buildings. It's like that's hard to choreograph all that crap, and so I have to do that to make it really flow through this environment. And so I've been kind of struggling with it a little bit, but now that I've seen what he can do, I can kind of look at that and be like, okay, now I know where he's going to go with this stuff, and it'll pick up and go a little bit better.
Yeah, that's awesome that you have him on there and working so fast and doing that. And now, does this complete the story arc for Ursa Minor?
Yeah, this will be the end of volume 3. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this one, and this is coming out January 7th is whenever it launches. Are we looking at a 12-day, 30-day? What campaign are we looking at?
It'll be 22 days. So it'll be the 7th to the 29th. So it'll end on a Sunday night, the 29th.
Okay, very cool. So we need to make sure everybody gets involved on that one, and that's your campaign you got going on for that.
Yeah, we don't do 4-week campaigns anymore. At most, we are 3 weeks, maybe like 24 4 days or something like that. But we don't do full 4-week campaigns anymore. A lot of stuff we do is even 1 or 2 weeks.
Right.
But in our larger books like this, it'll be 3 weeks basically.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, that campaign's coming up. Everybody needs to get excited about that one. But I don't want everybody to think that, this one's coming up and then you get to go ahead and just take a good inhale of your breath and hold it for a little while, because you got to let that thing go and get right back into it. Because right after this one hits, you've got another one that's coming out that is, you're going to be, managing the campaign and everything, but it's actually going to be under Dynamite, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And that'll be for Bad Kitty.
Dynamite campaign, but they're just we're gonna run it through my account. It'll be basically the same campaign that we had for Indiegogo last year that they did on Indiegogo. And I had a lot of people asking like, hey, you're going to put it on Kickstarter? And I was like, well, it's not up to me. They got to make that decision. But I just kept pressing them. Like, I think this would be a good idea. Let's do a second chance campaign for the people that didn't get to Indiegogo. And so it'll be like roughly a 2-week campaign for Bad Kitty. There may be some extras that were not on Indiegogo. We'll talk about that when those things actually are in place. But otherwise it'll be the stuff that you missed if you missed it. Or if you only ended up buying like one book on the Indiegogo, you'll have the opportunity to get these again. But this will be it. So when this campaign is done, that's the print run. Whatever they did for Indiegogo, whatever we do for this, that's the print run. I mean, obviously artists will get comps and stuff, but there won't be like an extra, 500 of these things created or anything. It's not going into Diamond in that capacity. So
right.
If you missed it, you'll have a chance. And if you only grabbed a couple of things and you want something else, you'll have that chance again. Yeah, that'll be February, like the 2nd February or the 2nd Saturday in February, I think is what we're looking at for that. And then it'll go 2 weeks. And then we'll be done with that.
Cool. And this is for issue number 1, correct? Or is it?
Yeah, it's a standalone number 1. It's a one shot. It's a special. It's a whatever you want to call it. We want to do more. I have story to do more. But again, that's up to them. Mm-hmm. So we want this to be as successful as possible so that they can look at it and say, okay, Tom made something good. Did this with CB Zane. He's the interior artist of the book. And he did an amazing job. So if we can make this successful in their eyes, we get to do more Bad Kitty, and maybe even be able to take this, to the primary retail stores and all that kind of stuff too, if things go really well. So everybody, if you didn't get in, trust me, we'll tell you, and you can get in on this time. Because we want to blow it up and do lots more Bad Kitty.
And speaking of blowing it up, we're going to show some covers on here, and these things are coming in extremely hot. I mean, these are some great looking covers on here. And as we're going to be showing these covers, I'll ask you some other questions, regarding the project and all as well.
Sure.
So, I mean, the main thing that I want to ask, and it's kind of a stupid question after seeing a cover like this, but why would you choose to bring back Bad Kitty?
Bad Kitty was the only Chaos book that I ever read back in the day. Like, it was the only one that sort of grabbed me. I'm not sure why, because it's a gun book. She's kind of like a supernatural Punisher, which that doesn't make any sense to me because I'm not into the Punisher or the gun thing at all. But the supernatural thing was cool, and I think the mix of the guns and the supernatural was kind of an attractor to me. Right. So I always liked Bad Kitty. And so I got in contact with Nick Barucci, who's the head of Dynamite, when I was working with Jesse James and we were doing stuff there, and we were having some kind of a chat about like Comic Book Shopping Network or something. And when it was done, I was like, so what's going on with Chaos? Like, are you doing anything? And he was like, yeah, we're doing like this purgatory thing and, this and that and chastity and whatever. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And I was like, so if you ever need some Bad Kitty, you just let me know. Like, that was it. That was the pitch. So it's literally that easy, guys. It's that easy. Just go to the head of the company and say, I'll do this character.
Yeah, I mean that's Tom's press kit right there for BDI.
That's it.
If you need something, I'll do it.
Yep. Basically, that was it. And so immediately he was like, "Yeah, let's crowdfund it." And I was like, "Oh shit, okay, I guess that's real then." And so we started trying to put it together. I pitched them a couple of artists that I worked with, depending on what kind of style they were looking for. Because initially, when I was trying to put this all together, I was like, I don't know, like what you guys want. But as it turned out, part of the whole let's have Tom do this was let's let Tom do this, like whatever he wants to do, like pick the guys, pick the artists, all the artists on the covers. I picked all of them. We had one person that wasn't able to do it, and it was just a scheduling thing. Otherwise we would have had her too. But everybody else, you saw Shannon Mayer, you saw Bill McKay, you saw Joe Linsner, you saw Maria Sanapo, Michael Stamaria, Brian, of course, did his cover. I feel like I'm missing one.
CB.
I feel like I'm missing one. Who?
Yeah.
Oh, CB. Well, yeah, the CB did the basic cover, the A cover. Yeah, your general cover. They basically let me, build the book however I wanted to. And so at every step I kept waiting for edits and stuff. And they were just like, yep. That's Tom. Jesus. All right.
That's the best kind of project you can do, though. I mean,
I know, right? So, so it's on me. Like if it sucks, it's on me. But if it's awesome, it's also on me. So I'm going to take all of the credit, along with CB, who did an amazing interior job. But if it sucks, I have to take that too. But they were really great and just basically letting me do what I want. Even in the story, like I sent the script and they were like, yeah, let me read this over the weekend. I'll get back to it. I said, sure. Like fully expecting edits, like, okay, you can't do this. You have to fix this, whatever, because their chaos world exists. And so there may have been things that I was bumping into that weren't going to work. He sends a script back and I'm looking at it and I'm like, yeah, I think you sent the wrong thing. There's no edits. And he was like, no, we fixed your grammar and stuff. And I was like, yeah, but there's no edits. There's no story edits here. And they were like, yeah, it's fine. I was like, oh, okay. All right. I don't know. I've never worked with an editor before in that capacity. So I don't know if that's normal or if it's just fine. and I guess I won't know until the fans have the book and they get to read it and they can decide if it's fine or not. But that was basically it. So, big thanks to everybody who dove in. The other covers we had, which I didn't send you, we had some cosplay covers too. Rachel Holland did some cosplay covers, which were great. So those will be available as well, guys. But yeah. It was a really interesting experience. And we'd love to do more. I have been given the okay to do another book, like another character. Because it was another thing that I pitched to them. It was a character I didn't even know was a chaos character. And I was like, did you guys do anything with this? They've had chaos now for over 10 years, almost right. A long time. And I was like, have you used this character? And they were like, no. I was like, do you want to use this character? And they were like, yeah, go ahead, write it up. And I was like, God damn, this is literally, it's that easy. Just tell your editor, tell the head of the company, look, I just want to do that. This is my experience in comics, is just tell the head of the company that you want to do something. And it's a yes every time.
I just find it odd that, companies actually have characters that they just let, sit in mothballs and everything and have.
Yeah. And that was the case with Bad Kitty. And I think that's another reason why I got to do it was she was basically dormant for 5 or 6 years. They had done something with her in 2014, I think it was. So it was 7 years of just sort of background stuff. She was in the Chaos Red Sonja crossovers and stuff like that, but she's just kind of background stuff. She wasn't her story. So I think that they saw an opportunity to kind of revive something that was just laying around, and hopefully we did her justice and the fans like it.
Very cool.
And then so the Brian's cover is the one where she's standing in the cemetery. Yeah. With the orange sun in the background.
Oh, trust me, I recognize that one.
That one. And Elenia DiNapoli, who she colors all of his stuff for me. We had Elenia come on and do the cover for him, so we kept that team together. And
Yeah, that was as soon as I was going through that. I mean, you didn't send who all the artists were and everything, but I was going through and I was like, I know this one, I know this one, I know that's Brian's, I know that's Bill McKay. I mean, it's like all these ones that are in there, and that's awesome to be able to go through there and find that. And again, that's another one of those that we were just talking about with Brian's. It has that definitive. It just stands out at you, going, that's my style right there, and it's that's going in my collection. I'm saying right now, so.
Yeah, and then Michael Maria, the one with the motorcycle, he was the guy I found on Facebook too, and I messaged him and I was like, "Yo, I really like what you're doing. Let's get you on Big Dog covers." And he was like, "Oh, dude, I'm sorry, but I'm exclusive with Dynamite." And I was like, "God, that sucks." So as soon as I got the go with Dynamite, I was like, "Aha, cheat code." Put him on the book. So we got Michael on one of my books. So that was fun.
That is cool. That is cool. Now, Brian, out of, a lot of the different stuff that you've worked on and the different projects you've worked on and stuff, what's one that that stands out to you that you've had the most fun creating?
Oh, I really liked doing the Dorothy set of outfits. That was, Tom's had me do multiple covers before, but this project, he's like, I want you to have her in 3 different outfits. And I really enjoyed doing that. It turned out pretty good. It got a really good response. Even to this day, I'm still selling copies of that, at my shows and stuff. People really, really like that one. And I enjoyed doing it. And it just turned out good. Every outfit looks awesome. It was a fun project.
Now, didn't you also do it was a 3 cover set that was on Princesses versus Zombies, I think, that was actually the different angles?
Yeah, that was actually the hardest thing I've ever done. That
Wow.
was the most challenging project ever.
I did a little research behind that. 360 design cover.
Oh, man.
First ever.
And I'm going to be honest. I'm the kind of guy that I look at it for how gorgeous it is and everything at first. And then I'm going, where are the mistakes? I want to find, where there's a hand that's just a little bit out of place, or, the dress doesn't flow the right way. Everything
I don't let
was
mistakes happen.
Perfectly.
I weed those mistakes out, Phil.
Oh my gosh. Between the both of y'all nailed that, because that was awesome. That's like watching it on a video at that point instead of being, on covers in front of you.
Yeah, that was the hardest part for sure, making sure every angle had the right pose. I think there was only one thing that Tom saw that he was like, yeah, this doesn't quite look quite right. And I had to go back and just rework a little bit on one of the girls. But besides that, everything worked out pretty well. It just was a very, very difficult challenge. Drawing a character from one angle is one thing, but having to replicate it from all sides is it's very challenging. I actually got this crazy little art model doll thing to kind of help me out with a lot of these different angles. And that comic is actually I sold out of all my comps. I got pretty good at pitching that to people, and I'm all out. Those are gone.
Well, we only made 100 sets, so I don't even have a lot of sets left.
That was cool though. Then we did the second set too with just the Oz girls, and that was fun. I went with more of Charlie's Angels kind of vibe with that one, rather than full out zombie warfare in the background.
Yep, and I have that one as well. Yes.
Oh, cool. Right on, man.
Like I said, the way Tom markets things, and he's like, get this one cover. This is the only time it's available. And yes, he's absolutely right about that one cover, but he's doing the 2 a.m. infomercial at the same time, because he's like, but wait, there's more. And he goes on to, this is the next cover, and it's the same thing, but a different outfit. And then this one is now Emerald, and this one here. And it's like, oh, just give me all of it. I don't care. Just throw it all in there. It's OCD at this point. It's like, I can't go with just one. It's an incomplete set.
Well, it's cool in a way, and I actually really enjoy that kind of part of comics. Sometimes it's frustrating. Like, so I love Jeff Scott Campbell. He's my favorite artist for sure. He's been a big thing, but his covers are he does like four covers of every single cover that he does, and sometimes that's a little overwhelming for sure. but it's fun to have those alternates available and to, you know, play around with.
Oh yeah. And it definitely, I mean, it keeps you busy with different things and different ways to do things and to look outside the box on the same picture, because it's giving you different perspective and different looks on there. So are we going to be maybe looking at a sketchbook or a something like that coming out in the future from you?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I've got definitely. I got some plans for some stuff. I will do a sketchbook eventually. I'm actually kind of laying out my own kind of big side project book kind of thing that I want to do. It'll be pretty big, but it's going to take me a couple of years to do, especially working around other projects. But there's a lot of stuff in the works. Definitely will be doing a, you know, I hope to do like a cover gallery or a couple cover galleries, some sketch process stuff. You know, make all that available eventually. Um, right now I've been so busy just jumping around on different things. It's been hard to, you know, get to everything that I want to do. But yes, I would definitely love to do that stuff.
Oh, something tells me you're definitely incredibly busy over there. Are you taking commissions, or do you do commissions at times?
You know, honestly, I don't take commissions anymore right now. I turn everybody away. I've I've got a few that are still kind of past due. Just so many things that I've got going on right now. Um, my wife has a project she wants me to help her out with. We're gonna do our own little thing. I've got Blue Jay on the side with Tom, and you know, there's a lot going on to where I like doing commissions. I like doing that for people, and I get asked all the time. But it's so hard to stop, you know,
Hmm.
everything that I've got going on to do a piece for $150 or $200 or whatever when there's much larger projects at hand. So I
Oh yeah.
honestly don't like telling people I can't take commissions, but right now there's so many things.
No, I mean that's understandable. I mean you got so much going on that at least it's keeping you busy, so you're not by any means sitting over there going, please, please, somebody hire me.
Yeah, you know, it's been a really cool ride. Like I said, Tom's put me on a lot of stuff, and a lot of people's caught eye. So I do get people asking me. I've even had to turn down, you know, 10, 15 different publishers for covers. I'm like, I've got all these things going on. I just can't get to it. So I do as many as I can. I do as many um as I can work in.
Hmm.
Um, but you
Now,
know, I've got some things to do.
now, Tom, I know you don't talk a lot about future stuff by any means. You like to do the whole "we'll give you a tease, but not the actual answer" thing. But I'm just wondering if I can get one answer on this one: is will we see Brian Peterson working on some Pennyverse, for your soul, whenever it comes up to its 10 year?
Well, we're already past its 10 year. We're working on 15 years
15,
of
yes.
Penny in 2025. So, oh yeah, I'm sure. I mean, we're I'm not even at that point yet, but I know that it's coming back in 2025 for the 15-year anniversary of the company and of
Mhm.
Penny for Your Soul and
Right.
15 years of Critter and so on. I'm sure as we roll around to that period of time, we'll have him on stuff. Yeah.
Excellent, excellent. Because I would love to be able to see some more of that work from him on that too. Like I said, I mean, you've
Those
got
were
me.
really fun.
Yeah,
That
you've
was one
got
of
me
the
hooked on your
other
stuff. I
fun
mean, it happens.
that I did for Jesse James was a really fun set to do on those
Yes.
characters. Tom kind of let me pick my own lingerie and all that kind of stuff for that, and you know, that was a really fun project. I'm excited to draw those characters again. It was cool.
Yeah,
That was the only
actually,
penny control.
I think I've got those, and I actually got those in low numbers for whatever reason, which was great. So yeah, I've actually got those as well.
Those are golds, man. Those mine were long gone. Those I sold all the copies I had quick on that, and you know,
Oh
I
yeah, there
can
was
only,
only 66 sets to begin with. So
yeah.
Yeah, I think I got mine's in the teens. I think is what mine is numbered.
I think I
So
kept one set for myself. I think that's all I got in my own personal set.
yeah. That's awesome. I mean, it's cool that you found somewhere that you fit the niche, so well in there, and that you're happy working with it, and creating all of this great artwork and everything that's on there, and being able to move forward with new projects that are coming out there too. I mean, there's some that, and I know Tom's not going to talk about it because I've already had Tom on here enough to know already. But like Sand and Scales is one that he's already, done the little teasers already. Something like that, to see some of your work on there. I'm already sitting here, just my brain is just trying to go haywire here and going, how is he going to use you on this for a possibility for a cover? And there's nothing coming to mind. But then again, I'm sure y'all will come up with, a few different ideas to put something out there. This is going to blow us away at one point or another. And it may be on Sand and Scales, and maybe on something different, but there's always something that he's got you working on that just goes to new levels. I mean, even the odd days, that come up, the National Hot Dog Day and Goth Day and all this stuff like that. There's different covers that go along with different ones with that. I mean, that's how Princesses came up with as National Princess Day. So I mean, there's
his banner behind him, that's a Blue Jay cover that we did celebrating the 35th anniversary of the Transformers movie.
Yes,
so it was the Starscream
cool
coronation scene, and there's on the cover, I don't think you have the words on your banner, but on the cover there's a blurb that says, I'm the new leader of Big Dog Ink. So yeah, there you go. So there's this little coronation scene from Transformers. And so there's that version there, and then there's another version where she's got like Starscream's armor on, like the shoulder pads and the leg armor and stuff like that. So
that is awesome. And that's got to be so much fun to be able to take an idea like that and then take that into your own style and put it out there and make it, because it's just something fun from your childhood and things that you're able to put up there and say, this is new work with, my style added into some of the older stuff that's out there, and now it's mine. That's just got to be cool to be able to stamp your name to that.
It's a lot of fun. Like I said, Tom's put me on a lot of stuff that I'm not particularly used to. Like, for example, drawing Transformers armor. I don't normally draw that on people. So, on this image right here, I had to try to come up with some like kind of boxy, clunky Transformers armor, but still make it sleek and sexy in its own way. And, I think it turned out pretty good. Just the right amount of accessories, not overdoing it. I don't even remember. I don't think we had to leave anything out. I think everything was just kind of okay with that. And, I enjoy it. I think it's cool doing all these different outfits. I'm so used to comics growing up as a kid. There was one cover for everything, there's just one X-Men and one whatever. But I really like the fact that nowadays in comics you can take your favorite artists and collect their interpretations on whatever they're working on.
Yeah, and there it is, because Tom just sent it up here to share screen. That is awesome because the armor, I mean, I'm automatically in my mind, I've got the Transformers armor going, it's going to be kind of clunky and everything, but it's still going to be a pretty hot looking, girl there with Blue Jay. And then I see this and I'm like, okay, this was just a whole new level of, I didn't see this one coming.
Yeah, we had to, it's Starscream, so we had to, imitate what kind of Starscream looked like. But, again, just basically, this is just Blue Jay cosplaying Starscream is all it comes down to, so it was good old fashioned fun.
That is awesome. Now I've got to ask, Brian, is there something that you haven't been able to work on yet that is in your wish list, something that's in that bucket that you're dying to tackle? Is there something you have not done yet?
Yeah, the biggest ones that I really want to get under my belt, I'd really like to get attached to Vampirella and probably some Red Sonja as well. Xenoscope's got lots of properties and all that stuff, but for some reason I'm more drawn to the Dynamite girls. Vampirella is definitely probably the biggest one on my list right now. I would love to get on a little run of that. Even one or two would be great, but that's one of the big ones.
Well, add that to my list. I'll end up having to get that one too if you ever do that one.
I'm working on it.
No, I mean that is cool that you're able to work on these, have so much fun doing it, and your style is in there, and it really shows how much you enjoy it. Because I always talk on all of my shows about, the indies is all about the passion that you put into your work, and you definitely, as an artist, you don't miss out on that. You can definitely tell that your passion is put in to everything that you do. You put everything on the line with that. And with Tom, with everything that you're writing, your stories that you come up with and everything, the fact that you have so many different genres of stories that you've been dealing with on almost a consistent basis with everything except for some of them that have ended for the time being, at least. You know, there's a lot of stories in there that I've even read that I'm going into it going, it's not my thing, but I'll give it a shot. And then I read it and I'm like, wow, that was actually really good. I mean,
Of course
it's not
good.
always.
Of course it's good.
It's
of course
not
it's
always
good,
just
Phil.
about if it appeals to you, it's how well it's done and how much you see that passion in there. So it's very cool that you're able to do that as well.
Well, the interesting one that happened just recently was with my shark book. It's only an island. If you look at it from the water, it's my Jaws tribute book. And so it was like Sand and Scales. It was a freebie for the people that did the Kickstarters. They got a free bonus book. And so basically the shark book is in my mind what Jaws 5 could be, would be, should be in my brain. And so since Universal doesn't care what I have to say about Jaws, I decided to, instead of just letting the story rot, I decided to make the appropriate modifications to it to just tell the story and get it out of my head so I can make space for other things. So the interesting part was, because it's a full-on sequel to Jaws 1, 2, and 4. I mean, it's a direct sequel, and it leans heavily into Jaws 2. Mm-hmm. So writing it, I'm using all of these references from these films to sprinkle into this island. So instead of Amity Island, it's called Harmony Island, stuff like that. So I'm sprinkling all this stuff in, and it's just layered with Jaws references. And so the question that I had was, okay, so when somebody gets this book, if they're a Jaws fan, they're probably going to get it. They're probably going to understand my weird changes that were required to make it not Jaws. But they should still kind of get it and be like, oh, okay, I see what's happening. But the other question was, can I write a story that is layered for the Jaws fans that non-Jaws fans can still understand what the hell's going on? Mm-hmm. And that was really the hard part for me. But as it turns out, as people got the book, I would get messages like, dude, when are we going to get more of the shark book? And so some of the people I asked, I was like, well, are you like a Jaws fan? Like, do you get what's there? And they were like, yeah, not really. It's just, I like shark stuff and whatever. So it was good that I was finding the people that understood all the Jaws stuff. And then I was finding people that had no clue what was going on, but they liked the concept and the story that was happening. Mm-hmm. So I was like, we got it right in that sweet spot where it's for everybody who likes just the shark genre. And then, the people that get it, it's like with Oz, right? The people that know Oz, they're going to get the Easter eggs, but if you don't know them, it's not written in a way that it's going to disrupt the story.
Yeah. And it's cool that you were talking about, hitting that sweet spot the way that you do, because you want to make sure that you're hitting the market shares, right down the middle. You don't want to go ahead and segregate to where only Jaws fans will enjoy this, because then it's like, well, there's so many old people in the world that actually understand that, but then the younger generation are right, like, yeah. Jaws, what's Jaws?
Yeah. And it was really interesting to see what a shark fin did sitting on your comic table. Like, we had it at Akron Comic-Con for the first time. Mm-hmm. And man, did that shark fin draw some attention. Like, they were on it, like, yo, what is that shark doing? And I'm like, oh,
blood in the water.
All right, let me tell you what's happening right here. So that was pretty crazy. I wasn't really prepared for all of that. Although I did have before we put the book out, I was at Free Comic Book Day in May, and I was I was wearing a Jaws 2 shirt because I wear Jaws 2 shirt more than I wear my Jaws 1 shirt because it again it attracts way more attention because people are like, "What, Jaws 2?" And I'm like, "Yeah, let me tell you why." So it's a great icebreaker. But when I was there, a girl came out of the store because we were all outside for a free comic book day, and she stopped and she saw my shirt and we started talking. She stood at the table for like 30 minutes and we just talked Jaws and sharks and like everything. And while she was there, she's looking at all the things, on the table. And I told her, I was like, I have a shark book coming. So, get ready for that. But she was there for so long that she bought some other stuff just because I convinced her that Jaws 2 was good.
I mean, as long as she didn't think that Jaws 3 was the best one, we're okay.
Oh,
yeah. We all understand. We all understand.
That used to be the only one I had on VHS when I was a kid, and that was the only one I could watch over and over again. But it's so bad. I tried to watch it a few years ago. I was like, oh, this is so bad.
Oh, yeah, especially without the glasses. It's like, oh, man, this hurts. And then you watch it with the glasses, and you're like, okay, it hurts, just not as bad. I mean, just the hair not
Anything in 3D is fun. Anything in 3D, I'll do it. Count me in.
I mean, we could have a whole show talking about just Jaws in general, but no, it's very cool that you're able to take the story and just extend it, but make it your own at the same pace, so that people can kind of enjoy it, that live through that era. Because I'm old enough to say that I was one of those that I remember my parents being ones that said, "Nope, we're not going to the beach for a while." Why not?
Oh yeah, I don't go in the water. I don't go in the water. Fuck that. Yeah. It's like it's the quote from the movie called The Reef. If you guys haven't seen The Reef, it's really good.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Yes.
They're figuring out that they have to swim to get to wherever it is that they're going because their boat's capsized. And there's one dude, they're all jumping in the water. There's one dude, he sits up on the boat and they're like, "Come on, man, let's go." And he's just like, "I know what's out there."
Yep.
And I'm like, "Yeah, that's me."
Yep.
I will just burn up on the boat. You can just let me sit. Because there's no chance. No chance.
Yeah,
being in open water is horrifying. It's just horrifying.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my fiance knows that she got tired of hearing it for a little while, and now she just laughs every time she hears it. But if there's a point where we have to, she's like, "Oh, let's go to the beach, or let's go to this place or this place." I'm like, "Can I see to the bottom of the water, to the bottom there?" "Well, no, it's sand and everything, but it's okay because no one's ever been bitten or anything." I'm like, "I've seen this movie. It didn't end well." And she's like, "Oh, I hate hearing that." Nowadays she laughs all the time because she's like, "Okay, I can see why you're that way, and you stick to it and everything." But I'm like, "Yeah, but I'm going to stick to it. I'm not changing." It's not happening. I mean, I've seen this movie. It did not end well.
Man, anything touches me in the ocean, and I'm good, man. I'll go up to like my chest, right about here. And if
you're too deep.
Run back.
No, you're too deep. You're already dead. You're already dead, Brian.
No. That's pretty deep, though. Them sharks swim right all the way up.
Yeah. Well, they tell you in the first movie, 10 feet from the shore, 3 feet of water.
Yep.
Exactly.
That's it. You're done.
Exactly. Hey, Zing, what's up, buddy? Appreciate you being here. Zing is here.
So I'm getting excited to do that. I was actually the other day I was watching Jaws 2 again and taking notes and stuff because I want to get I got to get that damn story out of my head. It can't sit there anymore. It has to go. So we're probably going to do it. It'll probably be worked on in the background as we do all this other stuff and just kind of slowly be put together. Because I don't feel like it's going to be like a floppy release. Like I just want to get like the whole thing done and just be like, here's the whole thing at one time. So it'll be my first like official like original graphic novel, and we're going to release it that way. I think is the plan.
Or something like a double size.
No, it's going to be like it'll still be like 5 issues worth for the whole story. But so you're talking about like 100 pages basically. But I just because of how the story works, it's not your traditional like 20 pages and end on a cliffhanger. And then, it's like, it's a movie in my head. It's just like, you just keep going. So I would rather just have the whole thing done so that people can just take it and absorb it in one sitting versus getting pieces of it. And so we're gonna try that out. I think now we'll probably end up offering some individual issues in the campaign as well for people that I like individual issues. I like the variant covers and stuff, but we'll just make all that stuff print to order. So you get them on that campaign or you don't get them. But the goal will be to fund the big trade paperback original graphic novel, and just give everybody the whole thing at once. But I'll work with Jason Hay here, who did the art on that, just kind of, a little at a time. Hey dude, I've got 5-10 pages. Go ahead and work on them at your pace. There's no rush. And then when we finally have it all, then we'll have a nice, cool shark book available for the public, which I think will be cool.
Count me in on a cover. I actually really wanted to throw a shark into that Baywatch cover. I was like, man, maybe I'll just throw a shark in here and see what he thinks. I know he really likes it. Maybe I'll have one in the back. But I was like, no, leave it out.
Save it for the right time. Right place, right time.
I was like, there's blood in the water on this one. We're going shark.
See, I agree with you on that one, Brian, with the Baywatch one. It's like that had the Jaws thing missing right there in the back. It was just a little fin is all you needed right back there.
Yeah. Trust me, when you see
the alternate's a cool one. I actually like the alternate a lot better than the regular one. The regular one's great, don't get me wrong, but the alternate's got a nice little flair to it.
Yeah, the alternate is it's like, you don't want to overdo it. It's like you've done what you need to do. Make it talk all by itself, which it does. Elenia's colors are crazy, and then there's all the dead bones in the water coming up on the shore, and so that was Brian did that patch version, and there's a new bathing suit and stuff. So but it's all the bathing suit. Both bathing suits are based on Erica Eleniak. That's basically Erica Eleniak if she was a vampire. That's right. That's the goal there.
Yeah, that was tricky in itself. Honestly, Tom was like, I wanted to kind of, I want to kind of get her look. So doing somebody's look and trying to translate it to comic style isn't necessarily easy. I mean,
right.
Normally most people have just a generic face that they just go to, and it's that same face over and over and over again. I try to get that likeness a little bit more than just that generic face. And she had a weird shaped face. Erica Eleniak, she is gorgeous, but her jaw is really wide on the bottom. And I had a really hard time trying to get this wide jaw to be like beautiful, but it ended up working. It looks great. And when I look at it now, it looks like a Erica Eleniak. But she had a tricky face to capture.
Well, even the running pose we had to jack around with for a while to find the right, arms in motion and the legs and everything. Even that was kind of a struggle for a little while to find just how to pose her.
That's hard too. Running, I looked through a lot of running poses, and running poses aren't beautiful. Most of them aren't beautiful. I'll just tell you that right now. So, it did take a few tries. I had to do a few sketches, and we finally found one that was just right. And
it's very, as I think about it now, it's very Jamie Summers Bionic Woman, sort of that casual, slow.
I can hear like the sound effect.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
It's very Jamie Summers as well. So it's got an extra layer to it that I didn't even think about. So I like it even more now.
Now, what is some of the things that motivate you to get to drawing these kind of things and everything, Brian? Like, is there something in particular
Boobs.
like you put
boobs and money?
Do you put music on? Do you have movies going? What do you have going on while you're drawing all this?
Oh yeah, now most of the time I do most of my art late night or on weekends. I don't get too many like full middays to work on stuff. So a lot of times I'll do crazy graveyard shifts like you guys don't even know. I'll start work at 10 o'clock at night, and I'll work all the way until 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock the next morning, and then I'll go to work. And I usually every night's kind of different. I don't know. Sometimes I'll listen to music. Most of the time I listen to music. some nights I'll just binge horror movies while I'm doing it. I just kind of listen rather than watch.
Oh, you're so gross. Ew. How do you watch horror movies? Yuck.
Yeah, I'm pretty bad. I watch a lot. You guys would be, I don't know. You guys would be like, what the hell are you watching most of the time? I turn on some crazy whatever. That's about all I watch.
I mean,
But
there's
it's
nothing
late.
wrong with that.
It's late nights. Lots of music for sure.
Yeah. Now, Tom, what about you? I mean, what kind of gets you in the zone with your stuff going? Do you have music or movies or absolute silence, or what do you go with?
Well, when I'm actually writing, I have music scores that I play in the background. So I have I'm a movie soundtrack collector. So I have tons of just movie scores. Well, I have soundtracks too, but just like the music, like John Williams, Star Wars and stuff. So I have hundreds of soundtracks that I just have on the iPad, and I just push shuffle and it just cycles through the stuff. Now, if I really am needing a vibe, I'll focus in. I'll be like, okay, play the whole, like if I'm writing the Sharks, okay, just play all the Jaws, because I have all the soundtracks for all four of the movies. So it's just like, just run me through the Jaws, soundtracks while I'm writing the shark movie. But I go through these periods, and I'm in one kind of right now where I'm not writing as much like actual scripting, but I'm in a really big like creative like absorption period. And it's because I have all these extra things on my plate. The shark book, Sand and Scales, like all these things are like fighting for time, versus the stuff that I know that I have to do. But what I do is I give those things sort of their 15 minutes. So I just watched the last week. I just watched Spartacus, the Gods of the Arena, the 6 episodes, Gods of the Arena with what's his name, Gannicus. So I got that kind of stuff in my head, so I could like take some notes, put them down, and kind of let it filter out. Like, okay, I took care of you. Now go away, because I have other things that have to be done. But I'm still in this swirl. So I'm watching Stripes like over and over again, because I found an underlying theme in it that really connected with me. So I'm not writing a military book. It has nothing to do with the military, but there's a theme in it that I'm like, oh shit, that's exactly what I want. And so I'm kind of trying to develop that out with a story that I had in mind that I didn't know how to tell. And then I watched Stripes and I was like, oh, I got it. There it is. It's fitting. So I was taking notes on that. And then the other night I watched Jaws 2 again, as I was just like, okay, I gotta do this shark thing. And so I was taking notes on Jaws 2, and I found my opening scene for what would be issue 1, whatever you want to call it. So I got that out of the way. And so now I can get back to, I feel like my brain is now sort of shaken enough out that I can get back to Fabio's script and knock out the rest of this Ursa Minor and get it out of the way. And then I have to write Yeehaw Vampires, which I've already started. I already have sort of the concept for it and some of the opening stuff. And that's just going to be part of an anthology. This is going to be like 10 pages. This is going to be a little fun, goofy thing. So that's not that difficult. But I got to get Ursa done, and then Yeehaw Vampires, so that he can just knock those out. And then then my door's kind of open. Then the only thing I have to do this year is Princesses versus Zombies for November.
Mm-hmm.
And Goth Day. Jesus Christ.
Day,
I got to do Goth Day. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Shit. So yeah, there's that too. I talked to CB about that when we were at Akron. I told him what I wanted to do, and the characters I wanted to use, and he was like, "Yeah, that's really good." I was like, "Okay, good. I think that's going to be super cool." So yeah, but I have to get the things. The problem is I run into these moments where like my brain is like, "Yeah, fuck this. I want to do gladiator stuff," and I kind of have to let it do it to get it out. And then I can come back to the stuff that I have to do. But like tomorrow, I have to go in and finish this gigantic fight scene with Dracula and the werebear, so that Fabio can finish this thing up.
So they're going to be fighting gladiator style, right?
They're destroying this castle. So it's really fun to just be like, because I hate. This is another thing that I discovered recently. I don't know if anybody else is with me. I'm so tired of like vampires that fight like ninjas and shit, spinning around and flying. It's just like, this is horseshit. I am so done with this. I love the old monster movies where you feel the power of these things. Like when they hit, like everything shakes. It's like there's dust everywhere, and you're like, holy God, that's a monster, man. But like even when I was watching like I Frankenstein, right? This Frankenstein dude is like doing ninja flips, and I'm just like, this is crap. Stop fighting like ninjas. Oh my God. Like it's somewhat tolerable in Underworld, but the longer Underworld goes, the worse it gets.
I agree.
So I'm kind of trying to write this fight like with real like power to it. So when these guys are hitting each other, when these guys are biting into each other, when they're slamming into walls, shit is coming down. And you hopefully you really get a sense of the power of the fight, and it's not just like it's not like 2 pages and we're done, guys. This is like a fucking fight. And it's unlike anything I've written before as far as action goes. So it's fun, but it's really complicated.
I like some vampire stuff, hit or miss. As far as cool vampires go, I'm not really into anime at all whatsoever. No. But Vampire Hunter D, they made a newer one, probably like year 2000, I don't know, 2004, I don't know, something like that. But it's pretty badass. It's got amazing artwork, cool vampires. It's not even really that anime. It's just a good artwork vampire zombie gore fest. Maybe consider checking that out, because honestly, it's got some really cool stuff as far as vampires go.
I struggle with anime so much. I struggle.
I'm 100%. No. This is outside the borders of anime. Like, I can't stand anime. This is cool. It's a cool movie. It's worth a watch on its own, just as a movie.
And I knew Zing was going to chime in on this one with Vampire Hunter D is the perfection of anime. And I agree. I mean, the original Vampire Hunter D, absolutely. That was the best of the best back then.
Yeah, it's a cool take on vampires, and they're not lame at all. They're not doing ninja flips and whatever. No, it's badass. They're badass ninja. Or now you got me saying ninjas. No, they're not ninjas, but
see,
badass.
Brian, didn't you know that you can't recommend for Tom to watch things because he doesn't like anything? Everybody knows that.
Yeah, I hate everything.
I'm gonna keep throwing stuff his way, whether he likes it or not. I'll just keep throwing it because whatever.
Yeah, and that's why I knew he was going to say that, because it's the same quality that his show will be in whenever he releases it. I think it's coming out next year too, is what we're hoping for Symphonic Verses on Netflix. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he's going to do with that one, because he's got his book series and it's going to be going to Netflix, which is going to be awesome to be able to see that and see the progression on there. That brings up another question that I want to bring up here in just a moment, but Tom just sent me something over here.
Yeah, I want to blow your guys' mind.
Whoa. That's one of the scenes?
The panel.
This is a double splash page from the Feast of Men that we've been talking about for the whole series. We finally get to the Feast of Men where all the vampires basically just go to town on these fucking dudes. So this is a double splash page for the book.
Wow. That is awesome.
Yeah, the girl with the curls in her hair, she's catching my eye. She looks badass.
That's Annabeth. And I that's part of the script, is it's like I want her to kind of be a focus as she just basically bites this dude's face off.
Yeah, she looks good for sure.
That is awesome. You're not lying about blowing people's minds on this. That is definitely, that is absolutely awesome.
So that's from issue. That's from this issue that we're about to go to print on. So that's for issue 2 for anybody that's backed the campaign. That's what it's going to look like. on the insides. So, and then when we do issue 3, it's just more and more and more of just that. So it's gonna be good.
Now, one of the last things I want to ask to kind of get to the closing point on this one is I've been enjoying kind of asking my guests the same question because I love getting different answers on this because, you know, different perspectives, different people. But we'll start with Brian on this one and the same question to Tom so you can kind of think about it. But if you were able to go back in time to a younger Brian and give a piece of advice, any kind of advice, what would you give?
Probably do what you really want to do first. I really loved comic artwork when I was a teenager, and somehow I convinced myself that it wasn't realistic to do. And I told myself that people can't do it. You have to be an amazing artist to do it. And so I put it aside, and I was like, well, I'll do fine art. I know I can paint. I know I can do whatever. So I went this whole alternate route for years. And, if I would have just stuck with what I loved and just focused on it when I was originally, telling myself that it wasn't possible to do, I feel like I'd be way further than I am now. But if you really feel like you want to do something and you really enjoy it and you really are inspired by it, go for it. Do what you want.
I agree with you, and I love that answer on that one. That actually is hitting me kind of home on that one because some work that I'm doing now as well. But Tom, same question to you. If you could go back to younger Tom, what advice would you give?
Buy more Star Wars toys.
There you go.
Like
lots and lots more Star Wars toys.
Oh, it hurts every time somebody mentions Star Wars toys. Gosh, that hurts me. I mean, so many.
Beyond that, the thing for me, my life has always been whatever path is there, I take it until it goes another way, and it goes another way, and it goes another way. I never had any real direction in my life as far as like, I want to do this. I had no fucking clue what I wanted to do. I was artistic as a kid. I had art classes and stuff, but it never really grabbed me to like understand art or how to use it for any purpose. Even though I was into comics, like I never understood really like who this writer is. Like there's a writer that does this and there's an artist who does this. Like I had no concept of that until, like the I don't know, 90s when we started to actually have these stars like Todd McFarlane and Jim Lee kind of came around. Then I kind of started to understand like, yeah, people do this stuff. Like, but even then it's like with movies and TV, I assumed like you had to be born into this stuff. Like I can't be an actor because my parents aren't actors. So how the fuck would I become an actor if I don't have somebody that puts me in that spot? Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I also, my mom and my dad were both like into real estate and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, yeah, but that's not going to work for me either. Like, I know I can't do that. So I always kind of hedged on the artistic side of life in all capacities. And then I just kind of ran into this, doing it just by accident because I was starting to do it for fun. And then I lost my job when the recession happened back in 2008-9. And I had the chance to just sort of try it and be like, okay, well, I've got stuff done. Let's just try this quickly and see what the hell happens. And it went well. Definitely. So we did a little more, it went well, and we did a little more, and it went well, and we did a little more. Here we are now 12 years later. That's basically, all I've been doing for the last 12 years outside of, with my divorce. There was a period where I was like working with Jesse James out at the comic shop. But again, I was still in comics. Mm-hmm. Like I didn't, go get a marketing job or, work at Walmart or whatever. I was like, everything I did kind of kept me in the comic book box. And so that type of thing kept me moving, even though I was stumbling at that point, especially with the, I was with Aspen at the time, but I had the divorce and things weren't moving quickly. I was stumbling, but I was still in the group that I kind of felt like I was supposed to be there. And so that kept me in comics. And then when we finally broke out from Aspen and we started doing Kickstarters, the whole world changed for me. So I would say, you know, as far as like advice to myself or to anyone else is kind of like what Brian said, just kind of keep doing what you feel like you're supposed to be doing. Doesn't mean it's always going to work out, but at least if you're trying to hedge that way, even if you got like normal life, if you're trying to hedge towards the thing that you want to do, you will eventually get that opportunity. And if you're ready for it, you can pounce on it and make it your thing. So yeah. And buy more Star Wars toys.
There you go.
Star Wars toys. Oh yes, definitely. Well, guys, certainly appreciate y'all being up here tonight and everything. I want to give y'all just a moment. I'm going to let Brian start off on this one, then we'll go to Tom. Go ahead and let them know one last time, you know, where they can find you, what you've got going on, and how they can support you. So, Brian, go ahead and take the stage on this one.
Sure. Yeah. You know, I'm still cranking out some covers. I've got some stuff that hasn't been released yet. I'm still working on some things with Tom in the background. So there's definitely going to be some more artwork coming out. I'm working on some big projects. You know, you can follow me on any of my social medias. Anytime I can update anything, I will show you some new stuff. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. Do a lot of Comic-Cons around just the Midwest area here. I'm trying to go a little further, but not there yet. So we'll see if I can make it out in some other areas. But yep, come find me.
Cool. And Tom, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to be doing 6 Kickstarter campaigns next year. Actually 7 because of Bad Kitty. So every other month we will have a campaign next year from Ursa Minor, Bad Kitty. We're bringing Penny for Your Soul back into print with a hardcover edition in March. May will be Goth Day, Return of Goth Day. July will be our BD13 anthology with a couple of other writers joining me. And then September is open. There's a couple of possibilities for what that'll be. We'll determine that as we get a little bit closer. And then November, we will wrap up the year with the Return of Princesses versus Zombies. So it'll be our full size issue number 2. Actually in BD13, it won't be Princesses versus Zombies, but in BD13, we will introduce our next princess as well. Jessie Witchman is currently doing the designs for that. And we will have her debuting in BD13 along with Yeehaw Vampires and the other story, which has yet to be announced. And we haven't announced the writers yet either, but we'll do that pretty soon too.
Nice. Cool. Well, that is awesome. And guys, I certainly appreciate y'all taking your time and being on the show tonight. Brian, you know, it's been a little while since I've had you back on here. It was great having you back on. Looking forward to having you back on in the future as well, and kind of keeping up with some other things you're working on if you want to.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for having me back on here, Phil. It's great to be on. Always a pleasure to talk to you, man.
Hey, absolutely. And Tom, you know, we're going to have you on a 14th time, and it's probably going to be with the campaign running next month. We'll definitely get you on, talk about that, and see what all is new and amazing with it going on. Yep. So we'll get you in the books for that one for certain. But I certainly appreciate y'all being on here and taking the time to not only get to know, you know, what's going on with the projects, but get to know y'all as creators a little bit better, and kind of know what's going on in the mind of y'all, you know, with what you're working on and doing all this. It's cool to go ahead and kind of put human faces to actual projects that are out there. Too many times you just see dollar signs is all you see out there. So that's what these shows are for, is to kind of introduce people to the people who are actually creating these and are doing the artwork or doing whatever aspect of it, to kind of show it off a little bit more. So again, thank y'all for being here and being able to open up and sit in the hot seat for a little bit tonight. And just to let you know, this was the final episode of the season. This is the 3rd season of Hell of a Show. Y'all finished this out tonight. So that's kind of a milestone that I am loving hitting right now. We're on season 4 as of next month, which I'm excited about. So it looks like Tom's going to be kind of almost streamlining.
He's got you covered every season.
Back to back shows.
Yeah.
But thank you guys. I certainly appreciate it. And if y'all want to hang out back for just a moment, I'm going to do my closing and I'll be back there shortly. All right. So We had Tom Hutchison up here and Brian Peterson talking about stuff that's going on with BDI and with Dynamite projects they have going on, and some of the work that they've done in between those, and some other work that they're doing outside of that as well. And it's just mainly, just getting to know, like I said, the creators that are out there and getting some human faces to the projects that are out there and to the work that is being done. Now, I've always had a closing statement, and it's always been something to go along with what's been said or the people that are up here and everything. I'm changing things up a little bit with these because there's something that's been going on a lot lately. Everybody knows my 4 rules: no politics, no religion, no drama, no negativity. However, I want to go ahead. I'm not breaking a rule, but I'm going ahead and bringing something up on here. Everybody's been having a major problem with the AI thing that's out there. Now, whether it's an issue, whether it's not, we're not going to get into all that. That's a whole other show that could be brought up on all that. What I want to go ahead and say is, why not go ahead and just outshine the problem that's out there? If there's a negative, just go ahead and put more positives out there. So if there's a negative, people are saying that AI is a bad thing, going to take work away from artists and everything. Why not have all of these artists go ahead and keep shining the light that they are brighter than ever, to go ahead and show that everyone is in a much better place if they go ahead and just start following the actual artists who are out here putting the passion into their work. So we're going to make sure that we go ahead and present that is what needs to be done, that they need to show that there are human people that are out here that are doing the work and putting their passion into it. And that's what you need to follow on there. And that's kind of what the panel show will be about in January. We'll be discussing that more right after Christmas. We're going to finish up with the Christmas holiday, and then we'll be discussing about that and setting up the panel for that. But we'll definitely be doing that. And I see that the Angry Artist jumped in here at the very last. William, I appreciate you being here. And I'll definitely be reaching out to you because I know you want to be a part of that show as well. So we'll be figuring that up and getting the information on that. But again, thank you everyone for being here. Thank you for sitting in on this tonight. Thank you for going ahead and being a part of what I'm trying to create and do with all this. I can't draw to save my life, stick figures, anything like that, nothing. But I do what I can to help out the community. And this is the best way that I can do that, is to go ahead and try to shine that light as best I can here. So we go ahead and increase that voice of the indies together. And by doing so, it's a much louder voice, and maybe some others will start hearing it. And you never know, whenever it gets far enough, we'll get some other people interested in what's going on and see if we can really make some differences out there a lot better and bigger than we expected. So again, thank you for being here. Please share this out. Let everyone know what's been going on, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Do not miss out on the content. We've got some amazing stuff happening beginning of next year. So get ready for that. Until next time, if I don't see you again till next time, I want to go ahead and say Merry Christmas, because we say that instead of Happy Holidays. Merry Christmas. And we will see you again next year. Keep it indie, y'all.